All right, today we're in section 1.6, subtracting integers. Good news about this lesson is that the rules for subtracting integers, we pretty much follow the same rules as we did yesterday with adding integers. Same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract and take. I do need to pay attention to my double signs and get rid of any double signs before I evaluate. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. So let's look at example 1. 4 minus 10. 4 minus 10 in example 1. Everybody looking up here? Okay, so we're gonna write that down in our notes. First question we ask ourselves is, do we have same sign or different here? Same sign or different? Okay, so let's go through it. Is 4 positive or negative? Positive. It's positive. What about 10?
Negative.
It is negative. So I have a positive and a negative. Those are different signs, so I'm going to subtract them. 10 minus 4 is 6. And is my answer positive or negative?
Negative.
Why?
Because 10 is bigger.
10 is bigger and it's negative. Okay, so my larger number, whatever sign that one is, that's the sign of my answer, negative 6. Look at the second one now, 7 minus negative 5. It's been a couple days since we talked about a double negative. Okay, what happens to a double negative? Alex?
It turns into a positive.
It turns into a positive. You need, are you listening? You've got to change your double negative before you evaluate. If you don't, there's no way you can get the right answer. You're going to evaluate the wrong signs. Because now, when I change my double negative, that turns it into 7 plus 5. There's no way you can get the answer of 12 unless you change that double negative first. Okay? I don't want to hear a calculator. We supposed to be using calculators? No. Okay, you can just put them up. You won't be using them today. So we have negative 2, what? Negative 2 what?
9.
Plus 9. Double negative changes to a positive. Negative 2 plus 9. Now I have different signs. Subtract and take. And what do I get? 7. Different signs. Subtract and take. Okay, guys, honestly, it's going to take some practice. All right, just practice reciting those rules. Ask yourself first, all right, do I have same sign or different? And go from there. Same sign, add and keep. Different sign, subtract and take. All right, so that's example 1. Now in example 2, we're going to throw in variables into the mix. Here's one area that I always see students mess up in, okay? What is my value for x? Negative 9. So when you plug in a negative, where there's already a negative, what happens? Turns into a positive. That's a double negative. So that you've got to be careful about. Let's look at the first one. Plug in negative 9 for x, and I have negative 9 minus negative 40. Okay? So what do I do first? What do I have to do first? Get rid of that double negative. Change that double negative to a positive. And honestly, guys, rewrite it. Okay? Because that will leave you with at least the least chance possible of making a mistake. So negative 9 plus 40. I can clearly see it's different signs, so I subtract and take the sign of my larger number, and it's 31. All right, I want you to try B and C. All right, so on the second one, most of you guys got this one. All right, I've got 7 minus negative 9. What happens to my double negative? Changes to a positive. 7 plus 9 is 16. All right, here's what tripped y'all up. On the last one, on C, there is already a negative x. So when you plug in a negative 9, that is a double negative minus 10. So now double negative changes to a positive. 9 minus 10 is negative 1. Negative 1. Okay, you see that? All right, you're not alone. You're not alone. Some of y'all got it, some of you didn't. Those double negatives, guys, sometimes you kind of it all just blurs together, okay? But you've got to remember your rules. Double negative changes to a positive. Finding change, evaluating change. You have a formula here, okay? So we're going to, I need you to write down this formula. All right, the formula is All right, I'm gonna call it total change equals the new amount or the new value minus the old value. Okay? New minus old. That's probably the simplest way that I can explain it. And here's what this means. Let's look at this first set of problems. Okay? Examples 3A, B, and C. All right? When it says from negative 150 to 280, okay? Whatever that starting point is, that's my old value, okay? That's my original value. All right? You with me? So I subtract that from the ending point, from the new value. So there is a formula. And what sign is already in my formula? It's a subtraction sign. There's already a subtraction sign in there. So here's what happens when I start plugging in these numbers. Okay? Again, it's new minus old. So if I'm ending at 280, I'm going to subtract 280 minus, the subtraction sign's already in my formula, minus negative 150. 280 minus negative 150. Do you see why that's a double negative? New elevation minus the old elevation, which is already negative. Double negative changes to a positive. So now it's 280 plus 150. And what's my answer? 430 feet. Okay, the formula, guys, the formula already has a subtraction sign. So if our original amount is negative, it makes it a double negative. All right, let's look at the second one. New minus old again. So what's my new elevation? Negative 380. What's my old elevation? So it's positive, so I subtract 140. The reason I don't have a double negative is because 140 is positive. Okay? So now, do I have same sign or different? Same. So what do I do?
Subtract.
Add and keep. Add and keep. Very good. So when I add and keep, what do I get? What do I get? Negative 520 feet. All right, now I'm going to teach you, well, let's do the third one. I want you to try to do the third one now. New minus the old, okay? So I'm going from negative 80 feet to negative 140 feet. All right, try to find the new elevation for C. So we start off new minus old. New minus old, so negative 140 minus, the subtraction sign's already there, negative 80. So what happens to my double negative? Changes to a positive, negative 140 plus 80. Different sign, subtract and take. What do I get?
Negative 60.
Negative 60 feet. All right, now I want to teach you how to figure out whether or not your answer is practical. Go back to example A. If you're going from, okay, watch me, okay? If you're going from negative 150 feet to 280 feet, what direction did your values go, up or down? So your answer is positive. Look at B. From 140 to negative 380, what direction did your values go? So your answer is negative, negative 520. Look at the second one. From negative 80 down to negative 140, which way did your values go? Down, so that's why your answer is negative. So you can check to see if your answers make sense. Okay, so I think I know that my answer is negative 60. How are my values going, up or down? If they're going down, my answer is negative. If they're going up, it's positive. Does that make sense? You can see if they're practical. We're not done yet. Let's look at temperatures now. Okay, so again, I'm using my formula. Total change equals what? How do I find my change? New minus old. New minus old. Okay, I can do the same thing with temperatures. So now I'm going from negative 28 to 47. So what's my new value? 47. 47 minus what? Negative 28. What happens to my double negative? Changes to a positive. And that's going to be what? 75 degrees Celsius. Positive or negative? Positive. How do I know that my answer is practical? Because I went from negative 28 to positive 47. Went up in value, my answer is positive. All right, I want you to do the second one. From 78 to negative 65, what is your change in temperature? All right, so what did you subtract? Someone raise your hand and tell me, what did you subtract? Cole?
I did 78 minus negative 65.
Nope, new minus old. Samantha?
Negative 65 minus 78.
Very good. Minus 78. And same sign or different, class? Same, so I add and keep, and what do I get?
Negative 143.
Degrees
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit. Who wants to be in that kind of weather? It goes from 78 degrees, beautiful and sunny, to negative 65. What? That would be crazy, all right? So I definitely would pick the 78 degrees, right? Okay, so again, checking if it's practical, I went from 78 to negative 65. The temperatures went down, so yes, my answer is negative. All right, if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 1.6.